Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Week 7 review. Feels like it's been actual freaking eons since I have been talking about college football. Kind of because this weekend was non existent or not anything to remember for me in particular, but um, yeah, today's Wednesday, and it's actually 1 a.m. at Wednesday. I was going to save this for tomorrow, but I was like, fuck that. Let's get freaking ahead so I can get my review video out tomorrow. Um, so yeah, with that being said, like and subscribe, a comment always helps. Let's get straight into this thing. So this was on Friday night, I believe. USF went into North Texas. This was, I think they said the first sellout crowd in North Texas history. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard something along those lines. North Texas was entering this game undefeated. They had a really nice win over Washington State, but a couple other close, shaky wins throughout the rest of the season. USF, one loss. It was to basically, I would say, in my opinion, the number one team in the country. And they beat Florida in Florida as their best win, which is eons ahead of anything North Texas has done. And outside of that, they've dominated every single matchup. It felt like it was going to be an easy picking USF here. I made it a bit closer though because these when teams go 5-0, 6-0, they just play better in this game in their first big game against an opponent. They just play better. And that's what I was expecting North Texas to do. But they just it got away from them. Got away from them. They were actually getting ready to go into halftime up 21-14 or 21-17 at the very least, but they just needed one more defensive stand on USF, and then they would have forced them to kick a field goal going to halftime. But they couldn't hold them, and unfortunately, that was the momentum swing that USF needed because they never looked back from that point on. Turnovers also were key in this game for both teams, but mainly North Texas, and they ended up getting dominated. North Texas, their window, I would say, has completely just slammed shut on their fingers for the college football playoff. They didn't really have like a door like USF or other teams. They didn't really have a door that was open. They were trying to climb in through a window, and they just slammed it shut on North Texas's fingers and broke a couple fingers. I don't think there's any room for North Texas to make a potential Group of 5 playoff team with USF, Memphis, and others all in very good competition or competing spots. I think this was the one that North Texas honestly had to win if they wanted to be a potential team. But I mean, they could prove me wrong, go 11-1 from this point on. But I'm not really sure how that would play out with USF due to their extraordinary strength of schedule. But good win for USF, bad loss for North Texas in front of all those fans. Ohio State at Illinois. If I remember correctly, I said this one would be close. Damn it, I was trying to fight the yawn. I said this one would be close going into halftime before it would slip away from Illinois. That just wasn't the case. And honestly, I'll show my prediction for a bit longer. I won't show it for a mere frame of a second. So this was my prediction, 23-13. I've got to go all the way back here, man. 23-13. Final score ended up being 34-16. Ohio State did nothing short of dominate, but largely that was due to the fact that Illinois was just turning the ball over and giving Ohio State extraordinary field position. I mean, Ohio State started off the game with a field goal. Illinois instantly threw an interception, which set up Ohio State 6 plays, 35 yards, touchdown to get down early 10-0. Another Ohio State kicks a field goal, goes up 13-0. One play, one fumble at the Illinois 25. Takes 5 plays for Ohio State to score a touchdown off of a gimme. Right before the end of the third quarter, they fumbled the ball on their own. They fumbled the ball on their own 30, which leads to Ohio State touchdown, make it 34-10. Literally 21 points of this game scored by Ohio State came from just Illinois making stupid turnovers right in their side of the field. And now I'm not saying anything like, oh, if Illinois doesn't make them, they'll win. No, I'm not saying that. Ohio State, obviously, the reason they're probably getting the turnovers so consistently is because of their damn ass good defense. But I'm just saying, if Illinois could patch up those mistakes, this game would have been a lot more competitive. But unfortunately for Illinois, it wasn't. It was a domination. Ohio State continues their march down. But something doesn't feel right about Ohio State football for me. I don't think they will last at number one. Something feels wrong. But Ohio State takes an easy win here. Alabama at Missouri. This was actually a super interesting game, but you want to know something even more interesting is the fact that Missouri has had every single game of the year so far at home. That is unbelievable. And they only have 4 road games this year. They have 8 home games, 4 road games. Alabama is playing like one of the best teams in the country. I'd put them in like the top 5 in my opinion, somewhere up there. They're playing like one of the best teams in the country right now. They've Damn it. I was trying so hard to fight it. They completely turned around since Florida State. They've completely turned around since that loss. And, Missouri isn't even that bad either. Missouri isn't even that bad. They could have at least driven down the field and kicked a field goal if the quarterback and the receiver were on the same page, but they weren't. And it was an easy interception to the safety to put the game away. Honestly, Alabama was looking like they could take this thing away, but Missouri rallied, kick a field goal before the end of the half, and then Alabama kind of blew up. They had a bad fumble, which set up Missouri on a very short field to tie the game. That was a huge momentum swing. But then, Missouri felt like after an Alabama field goal after 17 plays, Missouri felt like giving them an easy interception, but Alabama was like, hey, I'll miss a field goal for you. But instead of learning from their mistakes, they tried to go for a 4th down. I'm pretty sure there was like, no, I don't remember. I was going to say maybe a fake punt, but I don't remember. But they tried to go for it on 4th down on their own 37. It doesn't convert. Now Alabama just scores an easy touchdown, and it's things like that where it's just like, what are we doing? Like when you look at it, what are we doing? Because you give them that free touchdown, and your team goes down the field and scores a touchdown, makes it a close game. Damn it, dude. I don't understand. It's like I'm not yawning whatsoever. I'm not even tired, and I decide to make this video, and now I'm just getting the Z's. But then that touchdown makes it 27-24, and then you throw an interception. It's like, what are we doing? That downs just hurts, in a game that you're down, and I understand you have to be aggressive, but that aggressive? No. That's just a dumb mistake there and a dumb play call that ended up really hurting them. Now Alabama ends up winning. Alabama, this is nothing short of an impressive road win. Listen, here in the SEC, I say it like I'm a part of the SEC, but in the SEC, every road game is going to be hard. Like, every road game is going to be hard. The only not hard road game is going to be, like, at Kentucky. Like, that's it. Every road game is going to be hard right now, especially against teams with positive records and especially against teams with ranks. And Alabama's getting it done. They're getting road wins, let alone they're just getting wins. And it's really benefiting them right now because there's not very many teams left in the SEC, as we'll get into, that are really fighting for that top spot. Alabama is kind of now in control, and they keep on picking up good wins. It's just about time before they get home, and now they get to start to play in their home crowd and start playing just arguably better football alone from the crowd environment. The fact that they're picking up road wins makes me look at them as like a more professional team. Now, hear me out, all right? Like, NFL teams, road or home, it really doesn't matter that much sometimes. Like, maybe Green Bay, it matters or something, but NFL teams will go on the road and win. It is just a matchup of the teams. That's what stands out in college is sometimes you might be a good-ass football team, but you just aren't good enough to go and deal with the crowd noise and just keep yourself composed and play good football. You make mistakes in a loud crowd environment on the road. Sometimes that's just how college football is. Alabama's playing like that doesn't matter. The only game they played like that mattered in was Florida State, and since then they've completely patched that up, and they are winning games on the road, and they are impressive right now. I say they are in control of the SEC right now, which honestly is super weird to look at. Like, it feels like Alabama being like in control of the SEC doesn't feel like a regular thing, even though it absolutely is. Pitt at FSU. What has happened? You pick up such a huge win against the Alabama team that people are hyping up for the national championship, and you handle them. Handle them easily. You look like one of the best teams in the country. Then you beat two non-conference opponents, and then you just collapse. Florida State is now 3-3. I said they would dominate this game. And the crazy thing is even though a lot of their points were in the fourth quarter against Miami, they still only lost by 6 points to Miami. That's the second closest game Miami's had all season. To turn around and lose to Pitt, I really don't think Pitt is that good of a football team, guys. They lost to West Virginia. I know you can't look at football like that, but West Virginia is not good. They are getting dog-walked by everybody in the Big 12 right now. And Pitt lost to them, bruh. Pitt doesn't even look that good. They lost the next week against Louisville. To go on the road into a hostile Florida State environment, pick up a win, in a game they were in control of, too. It's not like Florida State imploded. They were up by 10 points in this game in the fourth quarter, and Florida State tried to make it close. Florida State was the one who was trying to look for a miracle. In their own home stadium, and they're ranked, and they're just a better football team. I can't believe how bad Florida State has become. After how good they looked in week one, how dominant, and they just looked like such a good football team, and now they just look like ass. I don't know what's going on over there, but Florida State takes another L. Indiana, Oregon. Indiana they just slingshotted themselves into the top 5. No question. Everybody's saying the same thing. But the fact of the matter is Indiana only allowed Oregon's offense to score 13 points in their home stadium. Oregon got a pick 6 in this game. And Indiana absolutely handled them. I knew Fernando Mendoza was going to be a great transfer for Indiana and a huge pickup for Curt Cignetti there. But honestly, Oregon's not bad. Oregon's actually really good. And it looked like Oregon was going to take control of things early with a deep touchdown. That just wasn't the case. Indiana, man, this is a huge road win, and this Curt Cignetti continues to prove that he is one of the best head coaches in college football because, I mean, my goodness, dude. Just the complete and utter dominance by Indiana on the road. And from this point on, it's Indiana's ball game. I mean, they could remain in the top 3 for the rest of the year. And depending on who they play in the Big Ten championship, it'll most likely be Ohio State. I don't see Ohio State competing with them. Me personally, when I was looking at it like this. Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. Best to worst. Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. Now I'm looking at it like Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State. I think, I don't know, bro. Indiana kind of runs the table now of the Big Ten, and it's just going to be a matter of who can maybe get in with a couple losses. I think Indiana's in the driver's seat after a win like this. Oklahoma versus Texas. Man, this was such a big win for Texas, but my God, did Oklahoma give them everything in the world? Oklahoma threw 3 interceptions, and they failed to play special teams and let Texas score a punt return. I mean, Oklahoma was they were in this ball game, but my God, they were giving Texas everything. Texas probably shouldn't be winning this game, but all of a sudden now you look at Oklahoma. Michigan just got waxed. That's Oklahoma's best win. Their second best win, Auburn. Auburn is good, but not that good. They're not superiorly good. So now it's what? We had Oklahoma all the way up at number 6. Their best win is against Michigan still probably, and it wasn't an impressive one. And now they're tanking down. The SEC is such a big question mark for me right now. For me, it seems like Alabama's the best team with Texas A&M right next to them. And that's it. I mean, Ole Miss is ranked at number 5, but Ole Miss is barely sneaking out Washington State. They got to play at Georgia. I don't know, man. I feel like Georgia's getting ready. Georgia is also barely sneaking out wins. They kind of got helped. We'll talk about that later. But they, barely. They shouldn't have even beaten Tennessee, and they lost to Alabama in their home stadium. I mean, who knows how long Georgia's going to hang on for? And I'll talk about LSU later. We'll get into it. But the SEC for me right now, I mean, when the Pac-12 did it, they called it cannibalism. When the SEC does it, they call it competition. You see the difference? You see how everything's different over there and just nicer for them? I mean, they're all going to beat each other up. They already are. I mean, Florida beat Texas last week to kick them out of the top 25, and now Texas beats Oklahoma. Now all the ranked teams, the highly ranked teams, are getting ready to play each other, which are automatically going to knock on losses. I would seriously see, I could seriously see two-loss SEC teams playing in the SEC championship, and a lot of 3-loss, 4-loss teams in the SEC. They're all beating each other up right now. North Carolina State, Notre Dame. I actually thought this one was going to be competitive. North Carolina State looked off competitive at first, but instead they decided to play like ass and get blown out the door by Notre Dame because Notre Dame is a pretty good football team. I don't care if they have 2 losses. They lost by 1 point on a last-second touchdown to Texas A&M, who is currently ranked at number 4, and they lost by a field goal to Miami, who is currently ranked number 2. So their 2 losses are to number 4 and number 2. Cut them some slack. Oh, dude, I forgot this game even happened, bro. Oh, my goodness. Iowa State is absolutely collapsing. And, my thing is I kind of spoke about this in my preseason Big 12 prediction video, is I said Iowa State would start off hot with a win against Kansas State. People would be like, oh, look at Iowa State, this and that, this and that. But they wouldn't finish to the standard of how they would be looking early in the season. They would kind of still slump down. I feel like that's a pretty good prediction, but I definitely didn't think they were going to lose to Cincinnati and Colorado of all teams. I mean, Iowa State picked up a win against Iowa, which made me look at them differently, made me look at them better. But now losing to Colorado, who is not good, losing to Cincinnati, who's all right, but still. I mean, Iowa State, you got to be better, man. You got to be better. Now you're out of the top 25 entirely. And it only gets harder from here for Iowa State. You can pick up a loss against Cincinnati, all right? Understandable, tough road environment. In Cincinnati, it was hella underrated. But against Colorado, no, nada. You cannot pick up a loss there. They have to play BYU on the 25th, and then ASU. I don't really know about ASU right now. At TCU, Kansas, and then Oklahoma State. There's losses well within there, man. They got to be careful. They got to be very, very, very careful to not lose another game. And they just looked like they were literally just barely competing with Colorado. Colorado's just not good. Florida at Texas A&M. I honestly thought this was going to be more defensive and Florida was going to be really close in this one. And they were close for the most part, but Texas A&M definitely looked like they had control of this game, as they have looked for every game except for the Notre Dame game. They've looked in control of every game except for the Notre Dame game. They were kind of trailing the Notre Dame game for the most part, but then they just took it right at the very end. And yeah, I mean, poor Florida, man. They've taken so many close losses this year. I still think ranking them so highly in the preseason poll was a little ridiculous, but they have so much talent, and they're just not able to pick up the wins right now. I think they're 2-4, and they're just so much better than 2-4. Can't stop yawning. Georgia at Auburn. It's too late to get into this, man. But my God, the referees have something against Auburn. I don't care what you guys say. I don't care what the call in the field was. Slow it down, freeze frame it, you name it. The ball crossed the fucking line, bro. He was in. All right. And honestly, that alone And what makes me think it's even more fraudulent was the fact that they reviewed it and they kept the Georgia player down instead of a touchdown. So what's it going to be? Touchdown Auburn or touchdown Georgia? That's the final judgment. Not just, oh, ball fumbled, ball 1 yard line for Georgia. No. Now you're just bullshitting us. Now it's almost like Auburn crossed the fucking goal line, but you're saying you're just giving it to Georgia, but to compensate for that, you're just going to put them at the 1 yard line. So much was wrong with it. Those final 2 minutes lasted 32 minutes of the game. Kirby Smart was pulling out some bullshit tracks. I don't know. I'm not a football player. I never played on the defense really, but it looked to me like Kirby Smart was like saying that he was clapping to mimic the snap count or something like that. The dude was clapping to like get his teammates' attention and point at something. And Kirby Smart calls a fake timeout or something. And it's just like, what is even happening? And the referees were all over the place, man. This was not a fun game to watch. I mean, the referees and everything just blew up this game. Blew it up. I would have been losing my mind if I was in attendance for this game as an Auburn fan. And the boos were raining down. And honestly, Auburn they could have done better. I mean, listen, when you go into halftime up 10-3, knowing you could have been up 17-0, it's going to hurt a lot more, especially when they get up to 20 points, knowing you could be at 17, but instead the ref screwed you. It's almost like a PCU quits. Michigan at USC, this was a really bad pick by me. I said Michigan would hit the road and get an impressive win because their game against Oklahoma looked impressive. That's why I thought they might be a bit more shocking than people would thought. Nope, they got pooped on. They got absolutely pooped on, and Michigan gets exposed as fraudulent, and USC, their only loss is what? It's to Illinois on the road in a game they had bad time management. They could have won. They could be 6-0 right now. USC is a lot better than people think, and this game proved it. South Carolina LSU. I said this game would be defensive. Psych. It was even more defensive. 20-10. LSU. South Carolina is nothing like we thought they would be from last year, which is really, really surprising. South Carolina has a really hard time with wide receivers from what it seems. And they just struggle offensively. They haven't really been putting up too many points this season. LSU, same deal. They're just a much better defense and a relatively better offense because they should be, Both of these teams were supposed to be good, but this could have been the outcome of a matchup between two highly ranked teams right now if they would have lived up to it. But both teams are absolutely struggling so desperately on the offensive side of the ball, and especially LSU. Listen, if LSU wants to compete for a SEC title and they want to compete to be a top 10 football team, they have got to figure out their damn offense. They've got to figure it out. They're not going to keep on scraping by these games, which, I mean, they practically aren't even doing so. I mean, listen, their best win right now is probably Florida or Clemson. I don't know. And they beat Clemson by 7 points. They beat Florida by 10 points. They beat South Carolina by 10 points, and they lost on the road to Ole Miss by 5. They now have at Vanderbilt, who Vanderbilt is favored. After that, A&M. After that, at Alabama. And then to finish off the year after two poopers, they play at Oklahoma. There's so many losses in those games against extremely good defenses if LSU's offense doesn't turn it up a little bit. Turn up the heat. Crank the heat on the stove. Start to get aggressive. Do something to unlock some of this offense because it's just ridiculous to me how Brian Kelly works. It's like 2-3 years ago, they were absolutely no defense, all offense. That was the name of their game, and they won the Heisman, but they were a 3-loss team because their defense just couldn't hold on to games. And then now we're here. It's like they're freaking stone cold defensively. They don't let any points fly by, but their offense just can't retaliate and put down some points. And it hurts to watch, man. It hurts to watch. BYU at Arizona. This was the best thing to happen to me all weekend. BYU manages to get up 14-0. And then they get down 24-14, and it's like, oh yeah, BYU's poop. But they managed to come back and take down U of A in overtime. Now, here's my big ish, is U of A got absolutely clobbered by Iowa State on the road. Obviously, we see now that Iowa State's not doing too good. BYU has a 3-point win against Colorado on the road and an overtime win against U of A on the road, which, by the way, there was not a lot of fans at this U of A game. A lot more BYU than U of A, if I had to say anything, because there was a gigantic rainstorm all weekend. We had a remnants of a hurricane that ripped through Arizona for like 3-4 days straight. And this game got a weather delay because that rainstorm was coming back. It was coming back for round 2. And there was not very many fans there, man. They literally forgot there was a game. This was not a crazy road environment for BYU. It's a road environment, but not a crazy road environment. And BYU managed to come back. They were playing bad at times, but they managed to come back. And honestly, to me, U of A just doesn't look that good. Their defense looks kind of good, but their offense just doesn't. BYU, same thing. Their defense looks all right. Their offense looks like shit. And honestly, the fact that BYU is one of the highest ranked teams in the Big 12 just hurts so bad right now. Because if ASU had Sam Leavitt, we'll get into it, man. We'll get into it. That's all. Right here. If ASU had Sam Leavitt, guys, I know we got 42 drops, and everybody's like, well, that's a defense. How is Sam Leavitt? The same outcome happened last year with Cincinnati. Cincinnati finished off a 5-7 football team. This Utah team will probably finish off 9-3, maybe 10-2, maybe 8-4. That's eons better than a 5-7 football team. We lost on the road against Cincinnati 24-10. We lose this one 42-10. You notice a similarity? The defense is letting up quite the hefty amount of points, and the offense is doing nothing in retaliation. That's going to happen when your offense is absolutely pathetic and your defense is stuck on the field. And I mean, it's a game, man. First off, your quarterback Sam Leavitt is like the team leader. When he's hurt, a piece of you gets lost. And that hurts the team's overall morale, especially heading into a game where, you're not favored and it's against a hard team and you don't have your quarterback. Things change quickly. And on top of that, it was also a complete and utter torrential downpour. And on top of that, ASU felt like making mistakes on top of everything. I mean, we messed up a snap to kick a field goal, which would have made it 6-14. I guarantee you right there, ASU would have played better. But when you give them a given like that and you're missing. I think I accidentally muted myself. When you're missing your starting quarterback, like I said, and you mess up a field goal and you walk away with no points there and you let them go down the field and score because of the loss of momentum, it's like a PCU just quits. It's just over. Your offense isn't scoring points. You're already down 21-3. What's even the point? That's what I think happened in this game, and I think ASU needs to get Sam Leavitt back fast. Supposedly he's been practicing again, and he's probable. But ASU needs him desperately for the Texas Tech game, and ASU desperately needs a win against Texas Tech to get back into the season because it hurts that they're one of the best teams in the Big 12, and they are just losing dumb ways. The reason Leavitt was supposedly even hurt in this game was because he got hurt in a pickup basketball game. I've seen that a couple times. I could be wrong, could be lies, but I've seen that a lot. And if that's the case, that is so stupid. I mean, Kenny Dillingham said that this is an injury he's been dealing with since Baylor, which I find hard to believe because he played entirely in the TCU game and he looked great. He looked like there was no issues. To all of a sudden be put into a boot makes no sense. But we take an absolute horrific L, and it really, really, really hurts ASU. But again, ASU started off 5-2 last year. We're 4-2 now. Same area, and we turned it around, and we got some big wins that pushed us there. I'm not quitting yet. I don't think I put this one in my prediction video, but I wanted to go ahead and just go over it because there was a slide. I had a slide of a prediction, and this is what it was, which was pretty close, relatively for the most part. Texas Tech looks like a top 5 team in the country. They're one of my top 5. And there's nothing in their way right now. I would say the last game that Texas Tech has to worry about right now, ASU on the road. Maybe even at Kansas State. Kansas State's starting to look a little better right now. But Texas Tech is favored by 7.5 over ASU for good reason. That seems like one of their last hard games. Their last ranked team is BYU. You know how I think about BYU. And it's at Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech could go 12-0. ASU has to turn up if they want to even give Texas Tech a win, and they could just be walking forward to a college football playoff appearance. But anyways, that is all for my review. I'll try to post this at some point tomorrow. Like and subscribe, it up, a comment always helps. That's all for me. Adios.